Okay, sorry, I made a last minute decision there to go off camera and go ahead and get the rest of my cattails in place around the edge of this terrain piece. Now let's talk about field grass. So field grass, a great source of field grass, of course, is the woodland scenics or other similar terrain material comes like this. You kind of have to make clumps yourself, and it's very fiddly, but it's still, a great looking material. But I prefer a makeup brush, which I stole from my wife. It's actually I didn't steal. What happened was it fell off the handle, this makeup brush, these bristles. And I'm like, ooh, honey, that would make awesome terrain. And so I use this all the time. This one brush has given me tons of uses. Anyway, here's why I love this thing. And look, if you went out and bought a makeup brush, I'm sure it'd be ridiculously expensive. I don't want to know, but this is going to give me a lot of use. So what I can do is, because this is already has like a rubber backing on it, I can just tear off a piece. This is sweet, look at this. And I've got a clump ready to go. I just tore it off the back of this. I can cut this down to size. In fact, what I do is I take a small pair of scissors and I just kind of make it more random so the bristles aren't all the same length. And I get in there and I kind of separate it, and I make something that's a little bit more random. Okay, so then what I do is I'm going to plant these the same way I planted the cattails, which is I'm going to use green stuff. Okay, make a glob. Actually, this time I'm going to kind of make a donut of the stuff. Okay, kind of like, hopefully you can make that out. Okay, kind of like a holes in the middle. I'm going to plant that near the edge somewhere. I'm going to put my clump of field grass in the middle of that hole. And then using my fingers, and this is going to be a little messy because my spackling's still drying, I'm going to plant that firmly. And then that field grass, especially once that green stuff's rock solid, ain't going nowhere. Alright, so again, I like these around the perimeter. Now you can certainly plant the cattails and the field grass, in the swamp, in the marshland, because this is shallow. That's the concept. But I like it around the edge because then, I can really maneuver a unit in there, not worrying about running over the little bits of scenery. So certainly the cattails and the field grass are entirely optional. They just add, it's not like if you don't have them that your piece is lacking. But, again, these are the things that make terrain making fun. So just to simulate that again, how I did the field grass, is I'm going to make kind of a snake of green stuff and a kind of a little donut. Okay, and then more or less. And then I guess I'll put some field grass over here. So put that donut down. Get my clump of, I don't like that clump. Get my clump of field grass into the middle of that donut. Get my hands in there. Mash it in. Rock solid, especially in the morning. And separate it a little bit. And I've got more field grass. Alright, so this is going to be really awesome. I'm so excited to paint this. You might notice one thing I really have to take care of. Stupid price tag still on this thing. I'll scrape that off with a putty knife, right? And then we'll be ready for texturing. And yeah, so it's going to look really great. I'm excited about it, and I hope you are too. And yeah, keep watching for the next step. Okay, now it's time to do some texture on the dirt mound around the swampy, marshy area. And as always, I'm going to do my combination of Mod Podge as my adhesive. You could just use watered down glue. And I'm going to use a dirt and kitty litter mixture for my texture effect. So basically what I'm going to do, I got my Mod Podge here. I am going to apply it where the spackling is, around the edge of this marsh. I'm going to apply spackling there, and then I'm going to sprinkle some dirt and kitty litter on. This is going to be shallow, so I could even texture this and put the water effect over it, but I want it to have kind of a smooth look to it. So I'm going to leave this part untextured and just do it, around all the terrain bits. So you can do this with, whatever size brush suits your needs. I'm going to go in with a fairly thick brush here, and then what I want to point out is where we use the green stuff to prop up the cattails in the field grass. It looks like a separate piece right now, but this will integrate rather nicely once we add this texture. In fact, let me show you just that piece so you can get an idea of how that all comes together. So I'm going to grab my sand and kitty litter mixture. I'm going to put a little bit on there, on that area. Okay, and then I'm going to shake it off camera, but then I'll come back here and you'll see that now that's very nicely integrated, and you know, it's not obvious that there's some separate clump of stuff there. Alright, so I'm going to continue to do that around the edge here, around the base, and apply this Mod Podge all around. And then when I'm done with that, then what I can do, when I'm done applying Mod Podge, and it's okay if I go into my pond area there a little bit, just to transition. Alright, so I'm going to continue to add this. Make sure I go on nice and thick with the Mod Podge where these green stuff clumps are, so the sand really integrates and fills in those gaps. Let me do that section for you, show what that's going to look like. Okay, so sprinkling that on the side. Okay, shake it off, and then what I've basically got here is more textured area. Alright, so a couple of bald spots there I missed. I'm going to go back and get those, but I'm going to continue going all around this and texturing this up. Oop, there goes Ranch. And texturing this up, and then yeah, I'll show you what that looks like in just a second, and then we'll talk about the next steps.